What is up, YouTube, and welcome to my review of Act 2 of A Rift in Time, the DLC for Disney's Dreamlight Valley. In this video, we are going to be going through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the brand new patch that's released in this amazing game. Before we begin though, a huge thank you to everyone who's been checking out the videos, who's been subscribing to the channel, and who've been sharing their thoughts this past few days. It has been food for thought. So I thought I'd make this video just to share my ideas, my feedback, what I liked and what I didn't about the brand new content. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, first of all, because this is the DLC, we're going to just take a quick look at the brand new character you unlock from owning A Rift in Time, who is none other than Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Now, Oswald joins the premium cast of Rapunzel, Gaston and Eve of characters you'll unlock by owning the DLC. And I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, he is by far the best one so far to unlock in the DLC. Purely because of the animations, the care and thought into some of his quests. Even his voice acting, I know, like, this game doesn't really have much in terms of voiced dialogue, but he's a breath of fresh air and really fun to look at, engage with, and whatnot. Even the opening quest was a huge plus because there's a lot of slapstick comedy that will entertain many of you like it did me. So Oswald comes as a brand new character, which means there are friendship quests. He can learn a new task, and in that way he's just a nice other addition to your valley. But one of the best things about owning this guy is the property that comes with him. And this is just a taster of the house. During his house quest, you have to use your 3D glasses to put another dimension to his cartoon house. And lads, I know there was a bug that locked a lot of you out of this quest. There has been a hotfix I've seen online, so it should allow a lot of people to unlock the house. But you know, it is by far one of the best designed houses in the game. And will fit in with so many different valley designs. But even still, the best thing about it is not necessarily the outside of it, but the inside of it, because it is actually just it really kind of puts to shame some of the previous designs, I think, because first of all, it's huge. The colour and the quality of designs and items. Now, a lot of these items have actually started showing up in Scrooge's shop for me. So again, you can recreate your own Oswald kind of theatre, but like that, beautiful. And this has been the scene of many cool quests for Oswald during his friendship challenges, which again, brilliant to see. So yes, I'm a big fan of the character as a whole, but there are some flaws. One of the big ones about the quests in particular, I found with Oswald, was there was a lot of gathering quests, and that means you needed to basically have 8 billion pieces of copper ore and plastic scraps to craft the alarm clocks, to, you know, craft the train tracks in his last quest. And I mean, lads, I kind of lost the will to live. I had to, obviously, as you can see, take pictures just to keep my sanity and playfulness in this game alive. But yeah, I question kind of at this point the quality of hunt and gather quests, because they're really not that fun. I mean, let's be honest. I could do without them. Getting 120 plastic scraps to craft something is quite frustrating. Getting 100 copper ore to craft something, and then having to get more copper ore to craft, you know, brass bars to then craft into something else. It's just it's a bit tedious, and I wasn't a fan of some of it, which is unfortunate because, as you can see from particularly the alarm clock quest, the animations were deadly, the storyline was deadly, quite hilarious actually too. And I just think that it kind of took away from the magic of it by having to gather so many silly resources. They really could have just knocked a 0 off the plastic scraps and I would have been happy, because there's nothing that enriching about just, you know, muscle memory, catching plastic and hoping you get bonus drops. Maybe it's a small frustration, maybe that's just me being a lazy gamer, but it kind of took away from the magic of brand new content when you have to do the same old. Yeah. Speaking of quests, another thing that I kind of was a little bit, I suppose, disappointed in was the main story quest. You have to remember, we've kind of been waiting a long time for Act 2, or the progression of this Jafar storyline to go on. And, obviously the quests involve Gaston, Eve and Rapunzel. I was expecting a bit longer and more girth to the quests, because really all you do with this ancient temple is you do like 3 mini quests with Eve, Gaston and Rapunzel. There's some nice, I suppose, puzzles, but at the same time, once they're done, and this kind of whole area is a bit vacant. And after this quest, I had a tiny bit left to do, so I was like, the next day I was like, oh, I'll make a new video about that. And when I got to it, it was just like, take photos of the rift in time, and then the game was like, okay, that's you finished for the next while, and I was like, oh, I kind of maybe foolishly thought there would be a lot more to do with the main storyline. And because there is a shorter amount of things to do, I guess, it did kind of come as a surprise that there was a few bugs in the quest lines that froze a lot of you out of the quests. I'm talking about the 3D glasses. A lot of people are talking about spawn rates of quest items. And also as well, part of Oswald's friendship quests involved wearing like black and white clothing. And a lot of you actually didn't have options when it came to that to progress the quest. And it was a bit odd that I thought the developers didn't put like, that in Scrooge's shop, or easy ways for paying gamers to progress in the game. So again, food for thought for future patches is that if you're going to introduce new items, new quests that require certain items, it might be a good idea to have some sort of system in place that gamers can actually get those items and be able to play the game whenever they want, as opposed to just a random lottery in Scrooge's shop. Now, I'm open to correction on that. Maybe Scrooge's shop has been changed to accommodate these things, but judging from some of your comments, it did not seem to be the case on release. Now, I know she's part of the free update, but I thought I'd actually spend a little bit of time just talking about Daisy. Everyone is going to get Daisy. She's part of the free update. Not necessarily a Rift in Time exclusive, but there are good and bad things about Daisy that I'd love to share. Daisy slander. First of all, lovely nice house. Very easy quest to get. Now, a lot of you were kind of like, how do I get Daisy? And I was unsure on how to tell you, because this game doesn't really tell you the requirements needed for different things. I kind of can just get these characters straight away because I've got a good bit of the game finished. So if you don't have a quest finished, that might contribute to it. Again, a little bit more clarity from the developer could help ease out these new patches. Daisy as a character is great though, and especially things like her house, which technically I suppose isn't necessarily a house, but more kind of like a weird hair salon. But again, well designed, nice to visit, colourful, poppy. It is the home to a few nice, interesting quests. And it kind of got me thinking that it would be great in, I suppose, future content. I'm going to be greedy here and just put down all my demands. If like character houses had these kind of rooms, instead of like Mickey and Minnie being like, okay, here's a bed, kitchen and living room, and then, Daisy and Oswald's house being like hair salon and cinema. That like there could be multiple rooms, bigger areas, extensions, those kind of things, because it's a missed opportunity, I suppose, to personalize some of these characters and their aesthetics. Because when I walked in, I was like, this is so cool, but also not really much of a house. Daisy's boutique is, class, and like the sheer size of this is exactly what things like the restaurant need to be, I think personally. It's just really, really nice and spacious. But Daisy's challenge, I like the idea behind it, but the execution is a bit poor. And the reason behind that is, if you look at my kind of IKEA setup, I've literally just thrown God knows what in here and kept it. And listen, like this is yesterday's stuff, and it has qualified for, well, I'm actually just going to put a costume there. But like, I guarantee you, right, I haven't put anything down apart from changing my costume. And when I go to Daisy and I just see, did I complete the challenge? You completed the challenge. So it just seems to be just put in a load of stuff and go to her every day and you'll get it. So the idea behind it is cool. I love, because I haven't really done much Touch of Magic customizations, my own fault. So I was really looking forward to the boutique kind of challenging you and putting you like dream snaps where you'd kind of have to be creating all these wonderful things. But instead it just kind of seems to be like a pump and dump scheme. And then the final thing that I just wanted to review very quickly is the Star Path. Now, I'm a big fan of a day at Disney Star Path. There's some really nice items, particularly the park rides. I mean, like, they're going to be a real go-getter for a lot of people who want to just design big attractions. The fact that you can ride them as well is pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I think it's well worth upgrading to the premium path. Especially with like all the little kind of small furniture and costumes for Daisy and for Minnie. Daisy's costume maybe not so much, but grand. The main problem I have with Star Paths, and I wish this would be addressed, because again it is kind of like Oswald's collecting all the resources. The problem is the duties. I mean, how many of these do we have to do where it's like you're given like, you know, oh, you have to give five items, five gifts to a certain person, so you can't even complete it all in one day, or you have to talk to them twice, so it kind of stagnates it. Like, if you want to complete the path as quickly as possible, you should be allowed to do so, and kind of think up of more interesting ways of completing tasks rather than just, here, collect 25 mint, but you can only collect 8 of them because you have to wait for the respawn, and talk to this person, but not all at once. You have to do it over the course of 2 or 3 days. It's just little things like that I'm like, okay, this is so unfun. Change it up a bit. Think of new ideas. Even things like, you know, guaranteeing 1 or 2 of the slots to being something that will always be able to quickly do every day, like a daily, like 2-minute challenge that you can just constantly knock it out of the park, as opposed to these long-winded things. That's just myself. That's just my own laziness that is speaking through. So that brings us towards the end of the video. Here I am going back to my pumpkin patch because I am trying to level up Daisy's friendship quest. Even though she's a time bender, we're just going to plant so that she gets a bit of friendship. But yes, in hindsight, I probably am being a little bit too critical of the brand new patch. But, you know, the highlights are 2 great characters, well designed, and, you know, particularly Oswald, because I really didn't hear about him before. I'm a Disney adult, no shame in that, but even I was kind of unaware of him and didn't appreciate him, and I love him. He's a great character. I'm a big fan. There's just slight questionable quest objectives, particularly getting hundreds and hundreds of copper ore and plastic scraps. That really did not do it for me. The 2 new buildings, Daisy's hair salon and boutique, together with Oswald's home, so 3 actually. Can I add? No, I can't. The 3 new buildings are really good, well designed, and can't wait to see how everyone fits them into their valley. Overall, it's a nice kind of update, but far too short. Okay, I kind of wanted a bit longer. Because, you know, as a content creator, I do kind of rush these things so I can get videos up, and even I was surprised at how quickly you can clear some of the content. So I've seen some people comment about, oh, they've got so much to do. That's great, and I would hold on to that and go at a slower pace than even you were anticipating, because it is going to be a much longer wait for the next patch if you clear it like I did. Having said that, if you have yet to buy a Rift in Time, I would still say yes, it is well worth it. Simply because you get Gaston, Rapunzel and Eve, and together with their friendship quests and the entire, you know, Eternity Isle, it's well worth your time and effort on that. The patch is a little bit kind of lackluster for those of us kind of waiting all this time for new content and new characters to go. Good, could be better. And I say that as a big fan of the game. But let me know in the comments what you think of the brand new patch. I'm always open for criticism of my own views. So do argue with me in the comments. I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy throwing fuel on those fires. But yes, until then, I'm just going to go back to my pumpkin patch so I can slowly get Daisy to level 10. But like that, and like all videos, if you enjoyed this, give us a like on the channel. And until next we meet, look after yourselves, be good, and take care.